Alexander the Great rightfully earned his title. In his 32 years of life, he managed to conquer nearly half the world. It is a well-known fact that the king of ancient Macedonia never lost a battle, but some lesser-known aspects of his life might surprise you. Alexander studied under the Greek philosopher Aristotle. The future king had a keen interest in science, including medicine, rhetoric, and Greek literature. Alexander disliked spending time with peers. Today's youth might have called him a nerd. From a young age, Alexander loved nature. In May 334 BCE, already a king, Alexander embarked on his Asian campaign. In his spare time, he collected soil samples and made a herbarium for his teacher Aristotle to study. Alexander the Great is renowned as the invincible king. Yes, he emerged alive from all battles, but calling him unscathed would not be accurate. At the Battle of Issus, he was wounded in the thigh. Once the enemy even managed to cleave his helmet. Alexander was hit by a dart in the shoulder, an arrow in the shin, a spear in the ankle, and a stone in the head. After being struck by the stone, Alexander took a long time to recover, and his vision began to deteriorate after that. Everyone who knew Alexander well never tried to speak to him in a commanding tone. His natural stubbornness prevented him from accepting anyone's will, let alone fulfilling it. Even his father Philip, from whom Alexander inherited the title king, preferred to give advice rather than orders to him. If Alexander found someone's arguments and reasoning sensible, he readily took the advice, but Alexander never tolerated rudeness. When Alexander was 12 years old, his father brought him a horse he was considering buying. The black and unruly steed allowed no one near it. Many tried to saddle it, but failed. They asked a huge amount for this stallion, but due to its unruly character, Philip ordered it to be taken away. Suddenly, the young Alexander, who was watching the horse, spoke up. The boy realized what scared the stallion and offered to saddle it, and he was successful. Later, Alexander named the horse Bucephalus and conquered many lands while riding him. If Alexander encountered a cat on his way, no matter its color, the great conqueror would panic. He had ailurophobia, an irrational fear of cats. The king felt particularly awkward when a cat looked at him. Alexander even coined a nickname for cats, the beasts from the underworld. After conquering Persia, he refused to step on new territory until the guards caught all the cats. The outstanding commander had a wise political stance. Alexander did not enslave the people he conquered. As soon as he set foot on a new land, he sought the support of the locals. After his army conquered Bucephalus, Alexander took 2 Persian girls as his wives. Following his example, another 100 officers of the Macedonian army did the same. Alexander had about 30,000 people under his command, and he knew each of them by name. After learning this fact about his phenomenal memory, it's no surprise that Alexander could quote any passage from Homer's Iliad and apply his medical knowledge in practice. He even concocted a special potion for his stomach ailments. It could only be consumed in small doses. The slightest deviation from the recipe would lead to severe poisoning. Many historical sources mention that Alexander the Great had heterochromia. His eyes were different colors. Today, heterochromia is considered a rare condition, and even more so back then. Interestingly, many people of that time believed that eyes of different colors indicated a connection to supernatural forces. This fact greatly helped Alexander in conquering certain regions. Alexander loved good food, but never ate the first course. The king of ancient Macedonia loved meat, especially when roasted. However, he experimented with his soldiers in every possible way. They were strictly forbidden to eat roasted meat, but boiled meat was acceptable. Alexander the Great fought for proper nutrition among his subordinates and often ordered his army to be fed vegetables and fruits. At one time, Alexander acted ruthlessly. After his coronation, he ordered the killing of all the rivals to his throne. During his reign, Alexander expanded the territories of his country, acquiring a large harem, and had heirs, Alexander VI from Roxana and Heracles from Barcine. It seems that no one except them claimed the throne, and everything was calm around his people. Unfortunately, after Alexander the Great's death, the period of the Wars of the Diadochi began, the successors to his throne. Former comrades fought for control of the empire. As a result, enemies and traitors wiped out all of Alexander's relatives and loved ones. The dynasty of Alexander the Great disappeared forever.